Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a recreational set. So this is it here. We're going to recreate it, and the inspiration slash the original design that was created was from a Instagram account called Vo.Tino, I think is what it's called. I'll have a link in the description. This account is literally amazing. He literally does the most beautiful, amazing nail art. I just see it everywhere, all over my Instagram feed, and I just thought, why not? This one really tickled my fancy. I love the little penguin, and it's the first time I'm going to hand paint an actual character slash a proper image. I don't think I've done probably flowers. That's how adventurous I've kind of allowed myself to go, and I've never done proper penguins or anything, so I'll kind of walk you guys through it. Today's video is also much longer than usual, so that's going to be nice for the lovely ladies out there that love a longer video from me, so that will be nice. And without further ado, here are the two colors we're using. So I'm going to pick out a nude, and this nude is actually from Glitterbels. It's a kind of like a brown nude for sure, maybe like a chocolatey, I wanted to say, like a mocha, I'm not quite sure, but the name is called Blissful Biscuit, if I can remember. I forgot to actually look at the screen when it was being shown. And it's actually one of those colours that I received in one of their mystery Glitterbels mystery boxes, which is very exciting when it came. I mainly got those boxes for the actual unbelievable gels that they do, because it was so much cheaper to get it, and I just love all of their products when it comes, especially when it comes to the unbelievable gels. So I thought, why not just kind of risk it for a biscuit and just grab one and just see what happens. So I actually got some really cool unique colors that I probably would have never picked out myself, which is fun, which is the whole idea why I've wanted to experiment and try it. And it does kind of spark more ideas when you do it, so I do recommend whenever there's a mystery box and you like the company, just give it a go. It's quite fun and exciting to not know what you're getting. So I've applied 2 layers on everything. Of course there's gonna have to be a sugared nail, so I've picked up one of my fine red glitters from Lirissi. I'll have a link in the description. That will save you guys some money off there too. And I ended up curing everything finally now, so now it's time for the nail art. And as you can see here, my brain was going. I was trying to imagine how I'm going to do it. So 2 nails are going to be the same, but they're going to be flipped. So I'm only going to show you me doing one, and then of course the other one is identical, just flip it around. So we're going to do a love heart, but the love heart is going to go across 2 nails. Right now I'm trying to kind of plan out the nail design, map it out. It doesn't have to be too precise, it doesn't have to be too perfect either. You'll notice in a minute I will go ahead and kind of clean it up a little bit, but the main gist has to be there. So once you've kind of got it mapped out, I was actually quite lucky with this one in particular. I felt like I did it fairly well, excluding the bottom bit that was kind of out of place. But what I'm going to do here is grab a lint-free wipe and some Miley Nail Prep Cleaner, and I'm just going to wet a tiny little bit of that little lint-free wipe and just wipe away any areas you don't want. You can also use a nail art brush if you wanted to, in case you didn't have any of those little wipes or you just didn't want to use them. You can use a brush, which actually could prove to be easier to use actually. But I've always just kind of picked up my little wipes to do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to now use the brush from the bottle, and I'm going to colour in around the circle, the heart, sorry. So if you wanted to be a bit more efficient with your gel polish, you could have actually just straight from the bat draw a heart and just filled in each colour where it's supposed to be, rather than colouring in the whole nail with the nude and then going in with the red. That's all entirely up to you. I found this way a bit more easier for myself to do, so that's why I decided to do it this way. So I'm just going to colour it all in, and you want to repeat this process on the other nude nail, of course flipping it so that we've got 2 beautiful hearts. And also off camera I will go ahead and do a second coat on both nails as well, because as you can see, the red is fairly patchy. I'm not quite sure if I picked up a bad batch or something from Madam Glam, but I find it quite jelly-like. I'm not quite sure why, but it's literally no problem. The second layer as always just makes it perfect and opaque. I've never had to do 3 layers, so in case you're thinking of picking up this colour, I would still go ahead, because it's either I got a bad batch or literally the second coat does it. And pretty much whenever you do people's nails, you always do 2 coats, and even when I do these little tips as well, I always do 2 coats anyway, so it's no problem at all. So now it's time for our penguin, which is the most trickiest things of all. So I'm doing, like, almost have to imagine it all, which is so crazy. I was imagining kind of like a big boy at the bottom, but only a little bit of it, peeping through onto the nail, and then at the top of that fragment of a ball you want to do a circle, which is going to be our head. So doing this nail design, I was trying to follow the tutorial made by Vo.Tino on Instagram. Luckily, actually, for this nail design, I think in particular, or at least this nail, he did like a quick snippet. I think it was just literally a few seconds or maybe a minute video how to do the snowman. No, it's a penguin. So that was great, because of course with the heart it's a bit more, you know, it's easier to understand how to do it, but with this penguin I had to watch the video. So I've done a little bit off camera. I took out my little container with my wipes to help me kind of be in focus, which didn't always work out later on, you can see, and to kind of have more control over what I'm doing. So what I've done here is I outlined the white with the black, and now I'm going to do the little layers. I don't know how to explain it with the black, so I'm trying to outline the face here. Right there, and I don't know whether my brush was a bit too thick. I was really keen to have a thin line, especially with the eyes and the mouth, which I did unfortunately have to do off camera, but I will make sure I will leave a link to his Instagram account, and he literally, I don't know how he does it, he shows it so perfectly. He's always in shot, literally any hard little detail, it's always included. I have no idea how he does it. It's just, the talent is unreal on his Instagram. It's unreal, honestly. So here I messed up a little bit. I'm going to wipe away on the right hand side in a second. I was trying to fix it, but I was like, nope, it's not going to happen. So after that, I do hop off camera, I fix it up, and I do the face quickly off camera. You'll see in a second what it ends up looking like. If you wanted to, do feel free to stop it. There we are. That's what you want to do. And then you want to color in with black, kind of like the body of it or the outline that you've created. But yeah, feel free if you wanted to stop this and just recreate, or if you're still a bit unsure on how I've done this, I would definitely hop onto his account and have a look. He does it perfectly. So now it's time for the red, and I'm going to do a scarf and also a little hat. The hat at first looks quite funny, but later on it will look so much better, trust me. So I do go ahead and do, of course, 2 layers of this, just because of obviously it's a bit jelly like. If you wanted to, I think Vo.Tino did apply a white layer down first and then applied a layer of red on top, but I'm not quite sure what kind of products he was using. They looked quite opaque and almost like drawing nail art gels, which would make sense, but I was just using a regular gel polish for today. I actually did end up finding that I do have a red Glitterbell's Unbelievable Gel for nail art, so I should have used that, but at the time I just forgot about it and I just went straight in with the red that I had, the first one that I found that matched up with what I was trying to achieve. I managed to get a glitter in there, so I'm going to try and get that out in a sec. There we are. And I'm going to apply a top coat now. So the top coat I'm using is from Venalisa. It's one of their matte top coats. I will have a link in the description for that one as well. And once they're out, we'll have to apply some crystals, of course, but also we are going to tackle quite a lot of our nail art design with the Unbelievable Gel from Glitterbell's in the shade white. So using that applied on a matte background, you can achieve really nice glossy nail art with some matte backgrounds, which is fun, and that's exactly what we want. We want to give that different textures and different look and everything to this nail design. So once I'm happy and I stop faffing about with this top coat, because I'm really taking my time, I just had fluffs, I had fuzzies, I had glitters, I have everything in this top coat, and it was driving me insane. As you can see, I'm still trying to get rid of a little fluff there or something. Anyways, here it is. It's all nice and matte. So with our penguin, there are a few extra things we need to do. So for the scarf, I'm going to do these little lines, but they're not directly straight, they're slightly bent, and that's just to give it a little bit of a texture on the scarf, just a bit more detailing. We will also have to add some detailing to the hat. So with the hat, you want to do a little cute, is it called like a pom-pom or something at the top of your hat? So we're going to do a dot, and we're also going to do kind of like the bottom part of the hat, the more thicker, I don't know, when you have like a wintry hat, there's always that thicker like double layer bit at the front of the hat. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. So here we are, we're going to do the line there. And then we're going to use our brush very gently, flicking the gel polish out, which you'll see in a second, but off the actual, well, where we've placed the white, you're kind of flicking it slightly out. And it was the first time I was trying this technique, and it was actually quite interesting and quite fun to do, actually. There we are, there's the little flicks. But you have to be very gentle. You don't want to go too harsh because you don't want the lines to be thick. And also with my glitter bells, I don't think I mixed it properly, because I've noticed that if it kind of sits for too long, it ends up separating and it doesn't do very well on a matte background. It kind of almost seems to, yeah, separate and becomes a bit oily and funny. So make sure you mix your glitter bells. I've had mine for quite some time, so it's understandable that mine's starting to separate a little bit, but just make sure you mix them, and once they're mixed, they're ready to go. So here's my little hat, starting to look a bit more better now. So I did go ahead and cure it, because I did not trust myself that I was not going to budge that, especially as it's separating. So I was like, okay, let me just kind of get it right into the lamp and make sure it stays. And we're doing the exact same thing on the hat at the top. So with the little ball, we're going to place with a dotting tool, or you could do with a nail brush if you're very good at little balls, and then start flicking out the gel polish from the little ball there too. So I'm really sorry, I was hoping that I will be in focus, but I clearly wasn't, and I was focusing way too much on the nail art to notice I'm not in focus. So it's a little bit blurry, I'm so sorry, but I think I decided to keep it in because you can still kind of see what I'm doing. There we are. So that's done now, that's chilling. So now it's time for our heart. So for the heart, you want to apply the white gel polish in between where the red and the nude meet, so you're basically outlining the heart. And then you're going to repeat the exact same thing. You want to flick the gel polish out, just like we did with the penguin. And you just need to follow the heart line, and you're doing it on both sides as well. And of course, repeating it on the other nail as well. So there's a lot of work to today's video, so I'm sure you guys can understand why today's video is very long. I did try and fast track it a little bit because it's quite repetitive, excluding the penguin, of course, but this heart thing is quite repetitive. So I will show you guys one, do the other one off camera. So I'll probably let you guys chill, watch this bit, and then once I'm done, I'll come back to you guys. Alright, so we are finishing this one up. We're going to pop it into the lamp. I'll repeat it on the other nail, and I will also add some little kind of, they were like stars, just scattered them some stars. I can't remember whether or not he did that same thing or not, if I just felt like it needed some extra little something, but I did end up doing that. So you'll see that in a second, and there we go. So I just added 2 stars, one at the top, one at the bottom on both nails, and it's time for the crystals. So it's almost the end. So with the crystals on the 2 heart nails, I think Vo.Tino added those crystals, so I felt obliged to add them as well. So I'm just going to scatter some red crystals, and these red crystals are dreamy. They're so pretty. I love them. They came from AliExpress. They are super affordable. When they came, I couldn't believe my eyes of how sparkly they are. I hope that the camera's given it justice, but it's honestly magical. It's so pretty. I really recommend it. I'll have a link in the description if it's still available, because sometimes on AliExpress the links just kind of expire, like the sellers decide to not sell anymore or something, and they just disappear from Ali forever. So I hope they're still around, because they honestly had beautiful crystals. So with the red, you can't really see how sparkly they are on the red background. If you wanted to, you don't have to use red, you can switch it up. I think Vo.Tino did use red. Maybe just some clear crystals would have been beautiful. AB, sure, as well. Even maybe some opal ones to give that little frosty vibe to the nail design as well if you wanted to. But yeah, I was trying to do a full-on recreation as much as I possibly could anyways of this set. It feels like I haven't done full-on recreational sets quite often at all, really. So this is I think my second proper recreational set that I'm doing. And it's also from Vo.Tino. The first one's from Vo.Tino, and so is this one. He's just amazing. Honestly, I cannot rave about him enough. You have to go check his account out. It's literally amazing. So there we are. We've got 2 nails done. I'll pop those into the lamp. The gel that I'm using is my Macart Rhinestone Glue Gel. It's in a different container just because my pot ended up, my little squeeze tube ended up breaking, and I had to improvise and I didn't want to ruin it or make it cure by accident. So I had one of those really cheap rhinestone glue gels, and I just took it out, I cleaned up the pot, and I placed my Macart in there, and it's literally been amazing. I prefer it in a little container like this. I didn't like the tube. I always ended up finding myself using way too much, and it's just so much easier this way. So now here, it's very time consuming this bit, so be prepared. I did end up cutting it mid through because it's just not time consuming, it's just repetitive, and there's no need to show you guys the whole process, otherwise we'll be here for like 40 minutes. So here, when I'm placing some caviar beads, there's no strict rule around it. Place as many as you wish, depending probably on how long and wide your nail bed is. And then I'm placing a red crystal. And you want to repeat this. I will be trying to mess about with larger crystals and smaller crystals here too, but I'm sticking strictly to red crystals. You could apply some clear, opal, and all of that kind of stuff. You could mix and match them too. That's all completely down to you and probably what other colors you used to kind of make it all match up together. But for me, I really wanted to stick to the red, especially as I was so excited to see how this red crystals end up shining on this beautiful matte background on this nude color. As of course with the other red nails, it didn't really stand out as much as I really wanted it to. So I'm just going to finish those up. I will go ahead and pop it into the lamp, and as you saw, I had this gold tool. I'm not quite sure what it's called. I think one side is like a cuticle pusher, but what the other side is, that one I was actually using, I'm not quite sure, but it's so handy to do this kind of nail design and any caviar bead work that I do. I always use that tool to kind of manipulate the caviar beads and place them exactly where I want them. So if you're also kind of trying to recreate this, or you're struggling to get the caviar beads as straight as you want them to, if you have a tool like that, really give it a go. Or if you have any other tools that are similar, I would highly recommend giving it a go, because it really changed everything for me. Just made it so much easier to make them straight. The brush just wasn't doing it, and it was just stickier than picking it up, and even using a clean brush, it just wouldn't work. So yeah, I figured out that tool worked quite well. So if in case you're wondering, go give that one a go. So there we go, we chopped it there, and here are the final results. So I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I would absolutely love to see you all in my next video. Bye guys.